Today, I have the distinct honor and privilege to introduce our convocation speaker and the winner of the BU Computer Science Distinguished Alumni Award for 2015. First, a word about this award. The BUCS Distinguished Alumni Award was established in 2008 to introduce our students, quote unquote, to introduce our students to success stories and role models by recognizing CS alumni who have excelled in their professional careers and who have made tangible contributions to the profession and to society in general. I cannot think of a person who embodies the CS Distinguished Alumni Award values more than Ray Velez. Ray is the Global Chief Technology Officer of Razorfish, one of the world's largest interactive services companies, providing solutions in web development, media planning and buying, technology and innovation, emerging media, analytics, mobile advertising, creative, social influence, marketing, and research. That's a very long list. Razorfish has more than 2,000 employees worldwide, with US offices everywhere: New York, Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Portland, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Austin. What is Boston? It is truly a global company with offices in London, Paris, Sydney, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Beijing, Berlin, Frankfurt, Singapore, Tokyo, and Bangalore. Ray leads Razorfish digital and web technology operation, focusing on enterprise systems and web architectures, as well as on strategic IT planning to help map user goals to technologies that support them. I always like to think of computer scientists as architects. An architect is somebody who looks at what the customer wants or thinks they want and comes up with the right solution. So a true computer science architect right there. Ray has applied his expertise to some of Razorfish's largest implementations for clients, including solutions for Bundle.com, Citibank, the Ford Motor Company, the National Football League, Pepsi, General Electric, and the list goes on. As head of the technology community at Razorfish, he works across the community, helping to connect up experience, encourage collaboration and growth. And I understand that he is always looking for bright graduates, so dust off your CVs and maybe you can shake hands out there and slip one in. In that role, he also trained and developed curricula. He led the rollout of Razorfish Agile Plus process and helped move Razorfish and its clients to a more innovative, iterative approach. Now, before joining Razorfish, Ray experience included years of technology work in some major companies, including Cyient and Cambridge Technology Partners. But this path to his current leadership actually itself suggests some special agility. So I'm using this word for those of us who know agile development. Well, this is a good way to think about an agile career in many ways. Let me just start by this. At BU, he iterated between computer science and philosophy. As a fresh graduate, he tried his luck working to save some ancient technology, working as a software developer at Polaroid, I think. Does anybody know Polaroid? He spent a huge chunk, actually 16 of his 25 years of his career in a single company, that's Razorfish, and has experienced the true ups and downs of the tech industry. And that requires some agility. Ray received his BA in computer science and philosophy from Boston University in 1992, and this class is really very special to me. So Wayne was talking about how time just flies. Well, the class of 1992 was my first class that graduated as I joined this department as a young faculty. So with that, welcome to Boston University, and thank you very much for coming. Please.
Well, thank you so much, Azar, and thank you to the whole department. It is incredibly exciting to see the amazing growth that has happened over the years since I was here last. And thank you to the graduates for letting me be part of such an amazing and special day. I mean, I can't think of a better way to spend a Sunday with my family sharing this amazing, momentous event in your life. So thank you to everybody. So I'm going to start off and I'll talk about being open. So just say yes is where I'm going to start. So commencement speakers are always telling young folks, follow your passion. That's what you need to do and everything will fall in place. Be true to yourself. But passion can be a dead end. It can be a little scary, right? It starts and it ends with yourself. And what if you don't know what your passion is? Maybe you start as a pre-med student and then you decide to study computer science, and that's okay. So what I'm going to talk about is something different. What I want to talk about is being open and saying yes, and how that has made all the difference in my career. So being open, it enables us to see things differently. It allows us to look at history and future in a way that lets us build on it, to learn and to innovate. So my Greek philosophy professor here at BU always told us that all philosophy is footnotes to Plato. In my experience, all of everything is footnotes to something else. And that's an exciting opportunity for you to learn and to grow. So during my time at BU, I debated with myself and my friends, who I often thought, and they probably were, a lot smarter than I am, because they would stack their courses meticulously and optimize their quality of life and their GPA. That wasn't true for me. I decided I loved philosophy. I loved computer science. So do I study philosophy? Do I study computer science? Do I minor? Do I major? Endless debates. And everybody thought I was crazy for even having that debate. Every time I tried to explain my major to someone, they would look at me cross-eyed. And so what I decided was, yes, I'll study both. And I think it made all the difference. What did I learn? Well, they do. They have a lot in common, and it turns out it's quite a lot. So computer science is still a relatively new science, even today, all those years later since I graduated. And there's a lot of unknowns. And my last 2 years of study between philosophy and computer science, through no initiative on my own, ended up coming together. I was studying all of these challenges around artificial intelligence, just starting to talk about things like machine learning, debates between whether the brute force method or the heuristic method is better to solve AI challenges. And we were way off then, right? We didn't even have browsers back then, so things were very different. But what I found was, by saying yes and being open to both what seemed like different disciplines, they both helped me get excited about each. So computer science helped to focus my work in philosophy, and philosophy helped me focus my work in computer science. Years later, my boss asked me to write a book with him, and I think you know what I said. I said yes, I was open to it. And sure, it was a ton of work. I had lots of extra nights and weekends, but it was incredibly exciting and it was energizing. And it turns out the whole theme of the book was about being open. And one of the biggest changes we're seeing in the industry, in curriculum, in academia, is that we need to coordinate. So business leaders need to work with data scientists. Marketing leaders need to work with computer scientists. And you can't imagine more foreign worlds, right? Think about shows like Mad Men coming together with shows like Persons of Interest. For me, I've spent an enormous amount of my time trying to explain computer science to marketing, but the world is changing. Consumers are becoming more empowered, and computer science and software is the only way to reach people. And if you look back at times in history that propelled our knowledge and understanding ahead, it's been when the world has opened up to the convergence of art and science. It's a great book, and I'll talk about a couple of different books today, so you guys should be taking some notes. I'm just kidding. It's a great book called The Medici Effect by Franz Johansson, and he really illustrates it well. It's based on the Renaissance in Florence, a Medici family who was sponsored artists and scientists, and they had never done that before, so it was all new. And this propelled the world forward more than ever before in history. And the learnings still apply today. You see a ton of similarities, and we were talking a little bit about this earlier, around what venture capitalists are doing. They're taking a chance, they're being open to new ideas and supporting those new ideas. And it's almost becoming a business, a way of life. As you look at the maturity of how these industries have grown up, you're starting to see that. And Franz is a great author. I can totally identify him. His ethnicity is a mix of African-American Cherokee mom and a Swedish father. And as a Puerto Rican dad, my father was from Puerto Rico, and my mom is of Irish and English ethnicity, I can really understand that. And what I can understand is that both of our parents certainly had to be very open, and they had to say yes to new and different cultures. And that's really changing the whole world, and it's a really exciting change. It's helping us learn and collaborate together like never before. And what I find ironic about this topic is the most common advice I've gotten in my career is to say no more. Plan more tightly, stick to it. That's a terrible way to build software. For decades, we've been building software in this mode where we would stick to our plan, and we all know the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry. That's why I've passionately driven around agile and iterative methods at large and small organizations. I've built courses to help teach our teams around how agile software engineering is the new way to build software. And trust me, it seems like it's really simple to understand, but changing companies, changing beliefs, it's been incredibly difficult, but it's been very exciting. And one of the most exciting things for me is there's a bunch of different stereotypes in the industry. One of the stereotypes where every time you go to the technologist, they say no, right? But you don't have to do that with an agile approach. You just say yes and put it on the list and then ask us to prioritize. And that's a really exciting change, and you're seeing massive benefits through software engineering. And at the end of the day, as we've talked about already today, your chosen discipline, computer science, is driving the future of the world more than anything else. Being open is the clear strength of computer science, right? We're founded on open standards like HTTP and HTML, which have changed the world. Our technologies that are part of our discipline, your chosen field of study, is helping to bring openness and freedom to centuries-old cultures. So technologies like Twitter and cell phones, once mocked, are bringing about massive change and revolution. And back when I studied computer science, it was in the basement lab on Cummington Street. Yeah, there were no windows. It's really nice to see windows today. There's bright light coming in. And I still remember within the collaboration guidelines, which we hadn't even written at that point, by the way, because we didn't have browsers or any of the fun stuff you all get. But I remember learning how to deallocate a pointer in C through the help of open news groups. That helped me understand and bring that knowledge. And I could still do it today if you asked me, because of that. And as we see the amazing innovations coming out of the Internet things, there's one quote that I go back to that I love. So Marc Andreessen, the founder of the Mosaic browser, and a really loud proponent in the industry today, he says, software is eating the world. So whether it's a light switch or a prosthesis, everything physical is becoming digital. That's a huge mantra in the way we build everything we build at Razorfish, because we see software as an opportunity to control everything. And then that's going to create a whole new set of problems and challenges we need to solve. We need to solve for reliability. We need to solve for real time. We need to solve for security. All of these are incredibly exciting, and they're all out there for you all to solve. People have historically been closed to new technologies, whether it was the phone, whether it was newspapers or trains. And so that's something we need to be different. We need to think about being open to these changes. And one of the things that's really interesting to me is that growing up in this industry, I still didn't recognize how quickly the pace of change was. And I was very influenced by a fellow computer scientist, Ray Kurzweil, and he wrote a book called The Singularity is Near. And if you don't want to read the book, there's a cool documentary about him on Netflix. But what he convinced us through math and science is that we're at a faster pace of change than ever before in history. So even us who are living through this and believe that software is going to change the world, it's hard for us to internalize. And so it means we must be open. We must embrace this challenge. So I find myself incredibly lucky every day to have chosen computer science and philosophy. And not because I thought I was very prescient and I knew what the right thing to do was. It's because I was open and I was lucky. I was lucky to get the support of my family and my friends to do these things. My mom supported me going to computer camp when I was 11 years old. And trust me, there were not a lot of 11-year-olds who were going to computer camp when I was a kid. And it ignited my passion. So while I made fun of passion, I still think it's critically important. And when you're lucky enough to find your passion, everything falls into place. So again, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations to all of you.
It's our honor to present this distinguished alumni award to Raymond Joseph Velez. Thank you.